Right. There's our recording. Pause.
My hamstrings are so sore, by the way, from working out for the first time on Monday in a month.
Good, but that's what we need, right? We need stronger hamstrings and glutes.
Yep.
We're getting good work done. So I'm gonna kind of scrap my warm-up plan and give something a little bit more directly tailored towards you today, since you are the person here. So we have a 15-minute AMRAP of swings, double unders, handstand walk, and more double unders. And we talked a little bit about some modifications before. We're gonna see how mountain climbers go. And I definitely want you to keep a flexed knee in that kick out position.
Yep.
Make sure that we're not hyperextending that knee that we're working on.
Yep.
Our swings, we'll just stick with Russian height swings.
Yep.
And our handstand walk, we're gonna go for some hollow body rocks in order to kind of simulate that without getting ourselves upside down and stressing our shoulders.
Yep.
Awesome. That said, let's try out some mountain climbers, and let's start off with 20 mountain climbers. Go for it, yeah.
Feels all right.
Feels all right. Fantastic. That's very exciting to hear. Where can I stand and how can I? Let's get in some inchworms. And we're gonna keep those knees mostly extended, but make sure we've got a little flexion through there, so we're not hitting that hyperextension point. Nice long forward fold. Great. Let's go ahead and walk it on out to the plank. Get in one solid push up. Head on through. And walk it on out again. Don't let those knees hit hyperextension. Great. Let's go ahead and get in 3 more of those, please. All right. I'm gonna get some arm movement going. It's gonna be nice and deliberate. Hands out by the sides. Big reach across, reach back. I'll get some up and down, reach on up to whatever overhead feels good. We're keeping those ribs tucked down so that we're not arching backwards at all. Let's get some forward arm circles. They don't have to be very wide, but nice and deliberate, fully controlled femoral scapula. And backwards. It's going to have a seat. Get in some figure 4 stretch. Grab a foot. Pull that up towards our chest. We're aiming for some stretch through that glute. Great. And switch. Yeah, switch. 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 And last one, switch. Right. Come up into some low lunge stretch. Come on down to a lunge. We'll take a nice little step forward from there and then pull those hips down towards our heel. And switch. 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 And we'll get one more on each side. Switch. And last one. Great. We're gonna get in some single leg deadlifts going. They're gonna be very similar to our drinking bird stretch, but we're not gonna put that knee on up. So, great. We're gonna pick up one leg and you're just gonna keep that leg extended back behind you as we come on down. And I want you to stand up by squeezing your hamstring on the way back up. Good. Good, and squeeze the hamstring to stand back up. Awesome. We're gonna do 10 of those, 5 on each side. And again, keep that standing leg extended, not hyperextended. Make sure we keep a little bit of bend in there to stay away from that hyperextension. Right. When we're done with those, let's come on back down to the floor, have a seat. We're gonna get in some glute bridges. We're gonna go for some advanced glute bridges. So we're gonna keep the knees tucked together, but you're gonna lift the foot on up. From there, we'll drive off one, hold through the top, squeezing glutes, and we'll get in 5 on one side. Then we will switch and get in 5 on the other. Good. We try to get those hips above the plane from our knees through to our shoulders so you can open them all the way on up, squeezing the glutes to get there. Fantastic. Can your shoulder handle some side plank?
Yep.
Cool. Let's, we're gonna get some round the world planks now.
Forearm is probably better, but
Sure. We'll start out with a plank here. We're going to come on up to a side plank, on over to a front plank, keeping those hips up nice and high. On over to our other side plank, and down. Nice and controlled. We're going to aim to hit each one of those planks for about 5 seconds. Good. 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll on over into our front plank. Keep those hips way, way, way on up. Hips way up. Good. Come on over to our next side plank. Good, and back to our standard plank. And we're back the other direction on up to side. Good. Down to front. Good. Lift those hips way on up as high as we can. Good. Let's roll on over to our other side. And back to our regular plank. Fantastic. From here, let's get another set of 20 mountain climbers. Wonderful, wonderful. Rick, we're gonna get into a couple of hollow rock progressions real quick. First one, nice and simple. We're going to hug our knees so that we are in as tight a ball as we possibly can manage. The back should be nice and round. And rock back. And give yourself 5 to 8 nice solid rocks in that tight position. Wonderful. Squeeze your shoulders nice and tight to your knees. So we want to make that back as round as possible. Brilliant. Oh, yeah, and give yourself just a little bit of like some swing action from the feet to build some momentum. It doesn't have to be as big or as exaggerated as I'm making it. You get yourself a little bit of that rocking motion going. Good. So you feel that nice round shape with your back that's enabling you to rock comfortably. For our next step is we're going to, instead of using our arms to kind of like wrap around our knees to help us make that, we're going to keep that tuck position. We're going to unwrap our arms and make sure that that tuck position comes from our midline. And we're going to reach on out in front of us, making sure that we get that nice same curve and rocking position.
Where's the wire?
Good, good. Feels easy?
yep.
Great. Let's shift that up into some pike rocks. So feet on up over, actively reaching towards the toes. And maintaining a nice solid rocking. So our hips come up in the back, our shoulders come up in the front. Good. Brilliant. We'll open that up into our shallow hollow. Same deal, always make sure that our hips are coming up off the ground as we roll towards our shoulders. And then as we go, all we need to do is open up that hollow just a little further. Good, open up that hollow a little further and a little further. Good. Fantastic, until it feels like a set of 15 of those is quite the challenge. Good.
Ooh, yeah, 5 is a challenge there.
Great. So what we can do, I do want to aim for like a big set of 15. So instead of having that, very banana shaped hollow, we can start to lift our legs up a little bit. So it's kind of halfway between that pike, which looked like it was pretty easy for you, and our banana shape of our ideal hollow. Fantastic. Let's grab ourselves our kettlebell, and let's go ahead and get in a set of 15 swings. Good. And as you're swinging, I want you to think, really squeeze from those glutes on the way up. Don't let your quads give you that hip drive. Squeeze from the glutes.
I think I'll go lighter.
Is it, why do you want to go lighter? Talk me through that.
When I go out, even though I'm really aware that I'm not hyperextending,
There's still some discomfort in there.
stop, right? Like I stop it with a force and it kind of.
Okay, awesome. Good call.
I don't want the be too strong. I don't want the gravity.
Totally.
Yep.
Let's give it a few swings with that lighter weight and see how that feels.
Yeah.
Good.
Little less struggle there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Whatever movement we're going through right now, I do not want it to aggravate or even annoy your injury sites, and we're actively recovering through that. What I do want you to really think about is, as we're going through that swing, really try to squeeze through from the glutes so that we're getting lots of activation through there.
Yep.
It is possible to kind of drive that swing from our quads. The shape of them doesn't look all that different when we're doing that. They're very minor tells for that. But as you're going through, I want you to really think on squeeze through those glutes, and hopefully we can get more of that work shifted into the posterior rather than the anterior chains.
Yep.
Another good thing that'll help with that is making sure that our weight is always in our heels. Second, we start shifting into our toes, we're going to be over engaging our anterior chain. We want to really shift back into those heels. So a simple thing we can do to think about that is intentionally rock forward into your toes, and then intentionally rock back into our heels. And just do that a couple of times until you get a really good sense of where that weight distribution is. And if you're ever wondering, am I in my toes? Am I in my heels? Do that little shift forward and then shift back.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's grab our weight, and I'd like to get through a couple of stiff leg deadlifts before we jump into our AMRAP to kind of continue on some of that conversation about that as a movement. So I'm gonna improvise a weight for myself here. All right, so typically with a deadlift, with a barbell deadlift, right, we're coming down here, and then we're bending through the knees. And you kind of see how my knees start to almost poke through my arms there. We're going to come down very similarly, almost down to our hang position. So I've got a slightly bent knee here. But then from there, it's more like a good morning. And that weight might not ever come down to our mid shin. It may, depending on our mobility. It's going to come on down, almost like a good morning, and then on back up. So let's go ahead and get in a few stiff leg deadlifts. Good. Yeah. So we are seeing some rounding through the back. So let's think about sending your hips back a little bit more. We're still not going to bend through the knee. Good. And same way we want to think about that swing on the way up. Squeeze the hamstrings, squeeze the glutes, and really intentionally activate those muscles. Good. If we're not thinking about intentionally activating those, we may accidentally do most of the lifting with our spinal erectors, those thin bands of muscle that run on either side of your spine. And those are the ones that they don't like to lift. They like to stabilize. Awesome. This is very similar to the one-legged variation that we did earlier.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick rest and we can do some weighted stiff leg, some weighted one-legged deadlifts. We'll hang on to our weight with both arms, pick up that leg, and again, come on down until we feel a little bit of a stretch, and then squeeze through that hamstring and glute. This does have a tendency to isolate the hamstring a little bit more. Might be a little too heavy with that weight there. So we can always change the range of motion. So just from there, right on back up. Let's get our, when the bottom head gets to about your knee, let's come on back up. Good, and on up. And on up. On up. Okay. See if we can get in 3 more. On up. Woo. Good. Fantastic. Great. All righty. Bring it on down and relax.
Ooh.
So those are some other movements that I think would be very helpful in terms of expanding your PT and movement ranges. They're good for warm-ups. Also very good for getting more stability around the knee, controlling it laterally. So all good things for long term. If you'd like to take a pit stop, let's go ahead and do that now. And then we'll kick off for our AMRAP in just a moment.
All right.
All right. So we've got our 15 swings. We will stick with 36 for the number for our mountain climbers. And we will have 15 hollow body rocks. Again, looking for that kind of hybrid between our pike position and that full hollow so that we can get through at least the first set, maybe the first 2 sets of 15 unbroken or close to unbroken. We kind of, if that starts to break down as things go along, cool, we'll stick with that scale and let that happen. And then back to our 36 mountain climbers. Sound good? All right, let's get music on as you like. And when you are ready, give me a quick thumbs up and I will get our timer going. Fantastic. 15 minutes starting up in 3, 2, 1, go. Good. Mind that extension through that hip drive. Nice job. On into our hollow rocks. Good. Make sure, yep, fight for that nice round position. Make sure those hips are coming up. Nice. Well done, well done. Good. Nice job, Mary. Nice job. Good. Hips up. Nice.
Logan, maybe after the next round, I might need a substitute for mountain climber for my shoulder.
Okay. I saw you slowing down on those. Yeah, I'm glad you checked in.
So I would do another round with it, but I think I might need something else.
Let's try up downs in our next round, and I'll give you something else if that doesn't work out in a short moment. Later, Dan. Good. We're gonna cut that volume in half down to 18 though. We're not gonna do a full 36 on those. Okay. Are those any better or still a little troublesome? Great. Doing great, Mary. Nice work. Good. We're squeezed from those glutes. Awesome job, Mary. Awesome job. Almost done. We got 3.5 minutes to go. Good, good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Nice job, Mari. Nice job. Fantastic. Last 80 seconds. Great, just under a minute to go. Great, one more, 2, 1, and time. Good.
Whew.
Fantastic.
So nice to get the heart rate up even a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are two things I want to throw out there, mostly to keep them in the back of my mind, because if I don't say them out loud, I'll lose them. We can totally swap in sit-ups for a little bit of cardio. It's going to avoid both the knees and the shoulders.
Yep.
Usually we think of that as like an ab strengthening exercise, but given our other options, I think that can get some good cardio in there too. I would love to figure out a way to do something along the lines of GHD back extensions. Hip extensions and back extensions on a GHD or some similar thing. Now we can do kind of like the Superman back extensions, or even back extension rocks, the same way we do hollow body rocks.
Okay.
They're a little different. They'll do some good work for us. But some GHD back extensions and hip extensions, I think will be really beneficial for, again, like getting those glutes and hamstrings to really pick up and fire.
Okay.
But they're a little equipment specific because it's you need
Yeah.
something to anchor the feet and give you room to hinge downwards and come back up, which is a little tricky. Like what we might have some, like if you have like a box that you can belly down on and then extend back up, but it's also like balancing is such a weird thing because you really do want the feet anchored.
Bed.
Right, yeah, I mean like a bed would be great, but how are we going to anchor the feet?
Oh.
Right, that's the tricky part. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's with like you use like hook your feet on a dumbbell or something like that. Like squeeze a dumbbell between your feet might be a good way to do that. It's definitely going to be awkward until we figure out a good way to do that.
And that would be which part of the back?
So let's take you over to our GHD for a moment.
Thank you,
So
Logan.
hip extensions and back extensions are two different movements, and they're frequently conflated. So here we are. Great. We don't need to see that part. Awesome. I'm gonna just hop on in. This looks like it's set up for a hip extension for me. That's shorter than a hip extension needs to be for me. So for a hip extension, my hips are out in front of the mat. And I'm going to keep my back in an extended position. And I'm going to come on down and then lift on up. And that's really digging into mostly my hamstrings and my glutes as I'm coming through. I actually could kick back one more slot so I get a little deeper range of motion. But my back, right, it's not rounding out at all. It's staying flexed. Or extended, excuse me. For a back extension, I'm going to slide that back a little further. I'm going to put my hips on it, on the mat here. So that when I come down, it's my back that rounds out and my hips are pretty much in the same position.
Yeah.
And I'm coming through with my back, my spinal erectors are basically doing all of the work.
So you're feeling it in the lower back.
A lot of it is still in the hamstrings, but part of that is getting that spinal articulation really comfortable and being able to distinguish those. Hip extensions are where we want to start.
Yeah.
So making sure that we're keeping an upright, strong trunk, just like we do for good mornings or deadlifts, and that you're hinging through the hips. And once we're very comfortable with those, we can start exploring into back extensions where we're thinking about like intentionally changing the shape of our back as we go through those.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you. I will not dare to do it with home equipment yet.
Hip extensions first if we try them. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you, Logan.
Have a good one, Marie.
You too.